What's going on, everybody, and welcome back. A few years ago, I bought my little plasma cutter on the internet, and it's been a great little machine. So when BestArc reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to test one of their newer gen machines, I said yeah. Alrighty, well here's the machine. It's about the same size and weight as my older one. This is a Generation 2 machine. This is a Generation 3 machine. I was actually supposed to get a Gen 7 machine to show you guys, but there was some mix-up in shipping, and I ended up with this Gen 3. But we're going to go ahead and test it out anyway because it has some cooler features that my other one doesn't have. So I've went ahead and unboxed it for you already, just to save time. That's the box that it came in. It was packaged really well and all that, so there was no damage or anything. Kind of has all the same hallmarks as the other BestArc machines. It has, you know, an integrated water separator and air control, and your fitting for your airline is already installed. So that's pretty nice. You can control your air pressure right from this machine. You don't have to just set it at your air compressor and have, you know, your water separators right there. So one thing to know about plasma cutters is having dry air coming into them is pretty critical for the longevity of your consumables, like your tips and stuff. So you want nice dry air coming into it. So that's one of the nicer features that it's already included, you know, on the machine. So you just keep track of that, you're good to go. Well, one of the nice features that this machine has that my other one doesn't is the 2T and 4T mode for your trigger control. And that is how your trigger controls how the machine works. So it means 2-touch and 4-touch. In 2-touch mode, whenever you pull your trigger, it initiates the arc or your weld or whatever, and then you do all your work, you let go, and then you're done. In 4T mode, though, your trigger acts like an on-off switch. So you'd pull your trigger, it starts your cut, and then you go do whatever you got to do. You don't have to hold the trigger down. And when you want to stop, you just pull the trigger again, and it cuts the arc off. So I've never really messed around with 4T. I've always used 2T mode on my TIG welders and stuff because I use a pedal. So we're going to play around with that and see what it's like. Anyhow, let me show you what it comes packed with, and then we'll test it out. All right, this stuff is pretty self-explanatory, but I'll breeze through it anyway. It comes pre-wired for 220, but it does have a 110 pigtail in case that's all you have access to. I would check with an electrician or whatever to find out if your wiring is, you know, good enough or whatever to be running this stuff in your garage with 110. I'm assuming you need like a minimum of a 20 amp line, but check with somebody who knows. It does have the 110 pigtail if that's what you need. There it is. The instruction manual has some, you know, good information in it, like cut thicknesses and air pressure guide, all that stuff for 220 and 110. So depending on how thick you want to cut, what PSI you should run and what amperage you should run. So it's worth taking a look at. Some consumables, different tips and ends and stuff, and some Teflon tape. So, you know, this is where your air goes. Right here, your air comes out rather, and then your positive lead, your torch connects up. So you don't want any leaks there. So use the Teflon tape whenever you connect that up. Your ground lead, it's got a full web in there, so you'll get good contact on both sides. So a decent lead. It's not like some of the super cheap ones that rely on the hinge, you know, full web. So you're good to go there. Decent ground clamp. Here's your torch. It's got your little guard on it right there for your pilot arc, so you can rest it on there and glide across and do your cuts, and you don't have to worry about just resting this thing on. Keeps a distance away from your work. Pretty nice. On the end here, we have your connections. That's your positive and your air inlet for the torch that makes the cut. Your trigger control and your pilot arc connector right there. This right here is a piece of airline. I'm assuming it's so that you can adapt this to whatever your needs are. It does have basically your standard, you know, airline fitting on it with this water separator, but in case you're working with something different, you can convert it with this little airline, and there are some little worm clamps in there, so if you got something strange and you're trying to convert it, got a little piece of airline, and there you go. So let's connect up the torch, and we'll test it out. The setup for one of these is pretty self-explanatory, but I'll go over it for any folks that, you know, might not be familiar. This might be your first one or something like that. This is where your torch connects, and this is also where your air comes out. So you want to take some of your Teflon tape and wrap that around here so you don't get any leaks. There we go. It's all set up. We'll put that one on last since it's so big. But this is where your pilot arc goes. So this is the little red wire. Just attach it there. Screw on the little terminal. There you go, pilot arc is done. This has a little notch in the top, so that, or in the bottom rather. So it'll go on there. It can only go on one way. Then screw your collar down. Now your trigger is connected. This is for your torch right here. This is also your air. So it's got a little wrench, you know, like hex adapter on it. So you can do that, or you can just tighten it down by hand. Just get it snug. You don't have to kill it. There you go. Now we're done. Ground. It's got a little notch on it. Goes on the bottom. Turn it. You're locked in. And that's it. That's all that there is to it. All right, well, we've got some sheet metal, which is 18 gauge, I believe, or 16, and some 3/16 plate. So if we look on our little book here that it comes with, 3/16 is about 5 millimeter. So it's basically the minimum at 220 volt. So we're going to want 20 amps at 40 to 50 PSI. It's basically the same on 110. Again, check with somebody that knows what they're talking about running this on 110 at your garage, because I don't know. But anyways, we got enough power here to do it at 220. So that's what we're going to do. We'll go ahead and cut this stuff up. The fall leaves are rustling away, so I might switch to a different mic. All right, so you flip on the machine with the switch in the back. Wait for a second for it to initialize. You'll see everything come on. Shows you where our air is at and what our amperage is at. You can see the light is on cut, so that's amperage. Once we turn it up to air, it'll engage the solenoid or whatever to turn on the air, and we can set our air pressure to start our cut. So now we're on air. You can see we're just under 20, so that'd be like, I don't know, 18 PSI. Pull this out, you push it in to lock it, you pull it out to turn it. Said we should be at around 50. So it's about where we're at. 30, 40, yep, so we're at 50. Lock that in so it can't move. We're gonna try it at 20, where it says, and then we'll start our cut. So now we're on cut, we're ready to go. We'll hook up our ground, and we'll start off where it says 20 amps. All right, one thing that I actually forgot to show you was the post time, or post flow, as it's called in a lot of other places. This is a timer from 3 to 15, and that just tells you how long do you want air to come out of your tip after you let go of the trigger. So if we put on post time and set it at 3, now after I click this, it'll only come out for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And it stops. So we'll go down to post time, set it up to 5. Try it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. So that's what post time does. It prolongs the life of your consumables, and also, just your torch head and stuff. You don't want it overheating. It's a little bit, I think, pickier on welders, but who knows. I'm not a pro with plasma cutters. So anyway, we're gonna go to 2T first off. We're gonna try it at 25 amps. I know it says 20, but this is some old rusty stuff, so we'll kick it up to 25, try our cut. All right, I cleaned up this edge a little bit, just took some off, just so we can see what's going on a little easier. And we'll just start the cut here. There we go. Pretty nice and even, so grab your pliers, take the slag off the edge. There we go, pretty nice cut. So now we'll go ahead and turn the amperage up and see if we can go a little bit faster. So we're gonna do 35. Hopefully we can cut through here a little quicker. And there you have it. It's actually a cleaner cut, so a little bit nicer. We'll kick up the air pressure. Ooh, a little bit more. There we go. There we go. 5 pounds, 35. 35 amps at 55 psi. Pretty clean. I'm not the steadiest with it, so I'm sure that accounts for something. Alright, we're still at 35 amps. Alright, we'll try to do a little shape. A little squiggly or something like that. Oh, missed the spot right up in here. Oh, down there too. One of the benefits of the Pilot Arc over the Scratch Start is for cutting holes in the middle. Camera shut off on that one, so I didn't really get a chance to show you guys, but Scratch Start, you'd have to scratch into it and then material is blowing up onto your nozzle, where this you can kind of start and just, you know, blow it out and then get into it. Pretty terrible because I can't see, but you know, whatever. I have no depth perception, but you can see it's a big help for that type of stuff. All right, we're going to try the 4T. I've never used this on anything before, so I don't know how it's going to work or turn out, but we'll try the 4T. So we should be able to turn it on and off with the trigger. So I guess we'll find out. Alright, so I'm off the trigger now. Now I shut it off right in the middle of the job, so pretty good. That's pretty neat. I can see where that would be super useful and handy on a plasma cutter. And there it is, 4T. Pretty fun. Let's rip through some of this sheet metal. This should be pretty easy. I'm going to try it at the lowest setting possible and see what it does. All right, so we're going to turn our air pressure down a touch. I think 40 is where it says is like about the lowest. Yeah. All right, we're gonna do it at 2T. We're at 15 amp. Should be just ripping through this stuff. The trigger, to be honest, I'd probably take it off after a while, but for safety's sake, you shouldn't, I guess. Yeah, it's nothing. the lowest setting possible. Let's see how fast I can actually go with it. That's pretty close to it. Yeah, I don't want to go that fast. Pretty close. Got hung up in a couple of spots. So anyway, that's it. Lowest settings. Got a bunch of burrs on it. Fun. That's it. The lowest settings that it can go to. Just ripping through 18 gauge. Well, there you go, everybody. A nice affordable plasma cutter for your shop. So if you want to get one for yourself, all of BestArc's information is down in the video description below. You know, mine's always been really good, you know, to me. So originally I bought this thing a couple years ago on Amazon solely based on the price and the reviews. And then I got it and it was a good machine. A couple of my friends borrowed it. They liked it. They went and bought the same machine. They loaned it out. No one had any problems. It's been a good machine. So when BestArc reached out to me and said, hey, you want to try one of our newer gen machines? I said, sure. So they sent me out this one. The link for you down in the video description is for their 7th gen machine, you know, a newer one, which is essentially the same exact machine. It just has a different, you know, digital display, a big LCD readout touchscreen thing on the front, which is pretty cool. So all the reviews on that one seem to be great. It's the same machine as this. If you like this one is still available for like a little bit cheaper. So check them out. Again, all of the information is down in the video description below. Thanks to BestArc for sending this thing out. Thanks to you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.